I set Zoom to turn your videos off, but if you want to turn them on, we would certainly love to see you. Um, and of course, you're all muted. So if you have questions or even want to say hello, click unmute yourself as we wait for a few more people to get on.
I want to see these peeps. Hey!
Good morning.
Hey, Lisa. Good morning. How do I see all the people? Hey, Linda.
Hey, Steph, unmute. Everybody's muted.
Hi.
Uh,
Courtney told us to zip our lips. That's
I run a tight ship.
She sure does. That's why you get stuff done. I'm going back to mute. Great to see everybody.
okay, me too.
All right. Well, we appreciate all of you being here with us today. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Courtney, and I am the marketing director at Michigan Mortgage. I also have some of our loan officers on with us, Rob and Dave in Muskegon, and then Haley down in Holland.
Oh boy, I got bad.
As we go through this, if you guys have questions, obviously Instagram related, feel free to ask, but we're also here to answer any mortgage or market related questions that you have. So unmute yourself or use the chat feature, which you should be able to see at the bottom of your screen.
Rob, mute yourself, Rob.
All right, perfect. Well, oh, okay. It looks like we might be waiting.
I'm trying. I don't know what the hell's going on.
All right, I'll mute yourself.
Terrible.
I'll mute you.
I don't even know how to. I'm on my iPad, but I don't know how to mute myself.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. All right, so if you guys are ready, and it looks like everyone's in, let's get started. I am going to share my screen. So let me know if for some reason you're having any issues seeing the presentation, but it should be there and available for you right now. All right, good. Okay, so here we go. Today, we're going to talk about Instagram for real estate. This is something that we at Michigan Mortgage have put a little bit more emphasis on, especially in the last 6 months or so, because Instagram is so widely used and it is so popular. At Michigan Mortgage, our goal is to post 3 to 5 times a week. We want people to see, the different things we're passionate about. Some more personal things we like to show our staff. And we also use it too to engage with others. So this presentation, it's a little bit of a mix of the basics. I want to make sure we're starting out with the very basics of Instagram and then working our way through to more of the do's and don'ts and some apps that can make it easier for you. So I apologize if, some of these things are a little bit rudimentary for some of you, but I think that's the best place and the best use of our time. So Instagram. As most of you probably know, Instagram is a mobile app that allows you to share photos and videos. You can add captions, edit your filters, follow and engage with others. Instagram is owned by Facebook. So it operates and it functions very similarly to the way Facebook does. It has, your personal and your business profiles, a lot of the same things, and they talk to each other, which makes it pretty convenient. All right, so I want to start out with some stats, and let me grab my notes. So why Instagram? Instagram has 1 billion monthly active users, and more than 500 million of them use the platform every single day. So Instagram is said to generate over 4 times more interactions compared to Facebook. And I know the way Facebook works and the algorithm, it's frustrating. It's hard to feel like you're succeeding. So Instagram is a great platform to try out if you've kind of hit that level of frustration and you need to move on to something a little bit different. So the average time spent for users on Instagram is 53 minutes a day. People are spending almost an hour scrolling through their Instagram feeds, and you need to be there so they can see you and connect with you. It's still a little bit less than Facebook, but it is definitely gaining the traction. All right, and 50% of Instagram users follow at least one business. And then 1 billion of people using Instagram monthly, which is about 71%, are under the age of 35. So a lot of times we talk about, how do we target these millennials? How do we get in front of them? And according to the statistics, Instagram is a really great place to be able to do that. So 500 million account holders use Instagram stories every single day. And we'll touch on stories later, so you guys that aren't familiar with them have a little bit more information. But again, this is where the people are. All right, so again, I said we were gonna kind of just touch on the basics. I'm sure most of you know, but Instagram is very much a mobile platform. You can use it on desktop, but the functions are very limited. So if you don't already, obviously download the app and make sure that you are setting up a business account. I know for some of us, we're probably using a personal Instagram account, but just like Facebook, if you're using that business account, you get those added features. You get access to insights, you get to post ads, and that sort of thing that personal accounts are not allowed to do. And obviously, the third thing you do once you open up Instagram is you post content and you start following people. That's the most important part. Okay, so the personal profile, like I mentioned, when someone has just a very standard personal profile, probably some that your kids have, they can share photos and videos privately or publicly if they choose to do so. They can add to their stories, they can comment, send messages, use hashtags, that sort of thing. However, when you designate yourself as a business, which is what we have done at Michigan Mortgage, you get the additional tools. So I don't know if you can see my mouse, but right here, this is your Insights tab. So that will show you essentially the same insights that you can see on Facebook. It'll show you which posts are performing better, give you information about your followers, and it really allows you to kind of test the waters and see what works and what doesn't work when you're using Instagram for your business. So if you are currently using Instagram, but you do not have the business account, they make it super easy to kind of switch that over. So you can go to your profile and just click on the settings, which is the settings wheel right up here, and switch that to a business account. They have one sort of caveat to do that. You do have to connect it to your Facebook business page. So if you don't already have that Facebook business page, this is a really good time to set that up. Most of you are at home, you have a little more free time than normal, unless you're homeschooling, of course, then you probably have no free time. And I'm hoping that's going well for you. But again, if you don't have that Facebook business page, you'll want to set that up first before doing Instagram so they can talk to each other. And then of course, the last thing you want to make sure you do is set your profile to public. Personal Instagram accounts, they can be private, but you really want your business account to be public so it can kind of reach the masses. And you can interact with more people than you normally would. So once you have that business profile set up, these are some of those insights that I had mentioned that you will be able to see. So you can see activity, what posts are getting the most likes or the most comments, the content, so what's working the best. And then you also can see your audience. So you can see a breakdown of men and women. You can also see what days and what time of days are the most popular with your followers. And once you're able to analyze that, if you know, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. is the best time of the day for you to be posting, you can make sure that posting on Wednesdays is part of your content strategy. And again, these tools are not available if you're using a personal profile. The other benefit of the business profile is your opportunity to promote your posts and run ads. Much like Facebook, you can promote individual posts or you can run a sort of ad campaign. And for those of you that have never done this, if you set up the ad campaign on your Facebook business page, it actually gives you the option to automatically shift those over to Instagram. So you can kind of kill two birds with one stone there. You set it up in Facebook, you get all your images looking right, you have your content, and with a click of a button, it'll automatically distribute those on Instagram as well. So that is one of the benefits, of course, of the two of them being connected. So here are some profile tips for you to think about when you're setting up your profile. Maybe you're transitioning from your personal to your business. Either way, these are just some things to keep in mind as you work through that process. So the first thing we want to touch on is the profile photo. Oh, sorry, I'm reading a question from Katie. Yes, we can talk a little bit about highlights when we get closer to the stories and the IGTV portion. So for your profile photo, make sure you're being yourself. We want your online brand to match your in-person brand. A lot of people, Michigan Mortgage included, we use our logo as our profile photo. The reason we do that, of course, is because we have many different people posting and using it. So we wanted the logo to represent all of us. If you choose to use a logo, that's great. Make sure you're using your logo, not the brokerage logo, because this is you and your account. So we want it to be personal and tied to your brand. We also have to make sure it's consistent. If you're using a certain picture on Facebook, go ahead and use that on Instagram too. So as people continue to see you, they're going to recognize your face or recognize the different things you have going on. So Marty's asking, can I have 2 Instagram accounts? I don't want my personal connected with my business. Absolutely. And Instagram will allow you to sign into both personal and business at the same time. And when you're on your profile, there's a drop-down menu at the top where you can kind of toggle between your business and your personal account. So you can keep those totally separate. If you do that, make sure your business account is public. And obviously, before you post, make sure you're posting on the appropriate account. The last thing you want is something intended for your personal account to accidentally end up on your business account. Okay, so if you haven't already, we want you to pick an identifiable username. You have up to 30 characters, no symbols or spaces. So something that people will use to find you, right? So your name, especially if it's pretty distinctive, anything that will set you apart. So we have another question. Stephanie wants to know if we recommend having both a personal and business account. I think a lot of that depends on the structure of your business. So at Michigan Mortgage, we have one, I guess you could call it corporate account, and that is the account that I manage, where we share some more general updates. We like to show all of our staff from both of our offices working together. But some of our loan officers have their own personal accounts, where they focus a little bit more on their lives and their families and the things that they're passionate about. Stephanie, because you have a team, I would recommend that you, have one account for your team, and that is the one that you promote in all of your marketing, and the one that you connect obviously to your Facebook business page. But if you want to have a personal account, I think that's great. It's just, that's totally up to you. But I think the business account is definitely necessary for those of you that have the larger groups. So again, make sure you're picking an identifiable username and something that is, unique to you. And again, make it searchable. So Chad Carroll, he's with the Chad Carroll group. He's just using his name. You can also try to tie it to your area if you'd like. Just some more options there to think about. All right, you also have to write a bio that stands out, sets you apart, and really describes who you are. So they want to know about you, your passions, and make sure you include the area that you serve. The last thing you want is somebody to come across your profile, be impressed with what they see, and you not be able to help them. So make sure that you're being descriptive. As you can see in the example here, you can put in phone numbers, you can have your website address, and you can have your physical address if you have an office somewhere that you're comfortable with people going to. As if you're using Instagram, I'm sure you notice a lot of people have started incorporating the emojis into their bios. So again, anything you can do to stand out amongst the crowd will be helpful. So here are some really good examples. So Sarah over here on the right, she's an agent and, slightly sarcastic. She also describes who she is. So she's a serial laugher and an idea maker, amongst other things. So she's not only talking about her business, she's also letting people know who she is and what she's passionate about. So again, kind of walking that line of, this is me as a business person, but this is also me as a person. And Stephanie, going back to your question, if you can set up your business account the way Sarah does, where she's promoting her business, but she's also giving people the expectation that she's going to weave in her personal life, that's a really great way to do it, to have one account instead of multiple that you're trying to manage. Obviously, of course, the downside to that is that anybody can come across your personal photos. So that's a decision that you have to be comfortable with. All right, and you can also, if you have the business page, you can also add some contact options. So as you see here, there's call, email, and directions. These are really great because as you all know, people are turning to their mobile phones. They're turning to these different social media networks to get in touch with somebody. So they just have to click a button to call you or to email you or send you a direct message. That's a huge benefit because it's easy for them. They want things that are easy and quick. The one thing to remember, though, that when you set these up and you give people the opportunity to call or email or direct message you, they're expecting a pretty immediate response. So if you're not going to commit to checking your Instagram account every day, multiple times a day, or turning on the notifications on your phone to be able to get these messages quickly, then that might hinder the purpose, because obviously you want to make sure you're responding to these people. All right, so when you have your account set up, the next thing you want to start doing is obviously following other people. Can you guys hear me okay? Are you having issues hearing me? All right, well, let me know. Send me a message or write in the chat box if you're having issues. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so following others. Now that your account is set up, look for people who might be interested in the same thing you're interested in. One thing that we do from a mortgage standpoint is we look for other either mortgage companies or loan officers who are doing Instagram really, really well. Then we follow them so we can see what they're doing and kind of compare. Oh, we really like this. We don't like this. The information is out there. So use other people to really get ideas and see what's working for them. You also will want to follow people that are obviously in your sphere of influence because once you follow them, of course, their content starts showing up in your newsfeed so you can interact and comment and do all of those things to support them in hopes that they will then support you. On Instagram, you can also follow specific hashtags. So if that's not something you've done, play around with it. See what hashtags other realtors in your area are using, and start following those and seeing what content they're posting, especially right now. The social media is flooded with content. So if you can find a way to stand out, that will propel you forward during times like this. All right, so posting and sharing. Just like Facebook, you want to make sure you're posting and you're sharing consistently so people get the expectation that you're on Instagram and this is where they can find you. However, there are some do's and don'ts and some best practices when it comes to using Instagram. So before we get into the do's and don'ts, we're going to talk a little bit about just the different ways that you can connect with people. So you obviously have your news feed. This is where all of your photos and your videos go. When people open Instagram, this is what they see. This is what they scroll through. This is how they comment and they like. Then, of course, you have stories. Just like Facebook, you can upload content here. It lives for 24 hours. Photos, videos, you can add text, you can add polls. You can do a lot of things in your stories, and they are also said to be pretty high traffic areas on Instagram. A lot of people are using them and interacting with them. And on Instagram, you can also connect via direct message. This is where if somebody comments on your photo and you'd like to continue the conversation, just say, hey, I'll send you a message. Take that conversation kind of behind the scenes so you can build that one-on-one connection with them. So your feed, as I mentioned, this is where you'll share your photos and your videos. And your videos can be up to 1 minute. So that's kind of the cap for videos on Instagram, which is a little bit difficult because, of course, on Facebook, they want your videos to be a little bit longer, more in the 3-minute mark. So if you're hoping to use videos across platforms, Instagram has created IGTV that we'll talk about in a little bit that will help you do that without having to do too much editing to make it work. All right, so another thing that you're going to see all over Instagram, specifically in the newsfeed, are hashtags. Hashtags are everywhere now. They're kind of common practice. They're essentially searchable terms, words, phrases that help classify your images and your videos as you post them on Instagram. You can set up hashtags that are very specific to your business, or you can use hashtags that are popular. Motivational Monday is a really good one. There's also, the Throwback Thursday. And then, of course, industry related hashtags, interest rates, refinance. Those are some that we use a lot. And of course, you can use Grand Haven real estate or Michigan real estate. Play around with those and really do your research to figure out what hashtags are working well. So we're asked all the time, so what is the ideal number of hashtags that you should include on your Instagram post? And as you can see, it really ranges. Some people like to stay around 3 and some are posting 15 or more. However, as you can see by the graph, 9 appears to kind of be that magic number, where you'll see that that is where the average engagement per post is the highest. 9 hashtags is a lot of hashtags for some of us. So if you can't get there, don't worry about it. But either way, this shows the importance of using them in general. If this is not something you're doing, I would take the time to start. And of course, your goal by looking at this graph is 9, something to work up to. Okay, so going back to some more hashtag ideas, they can be topic related. Luxury real estate, pool with a view, kitchen goals. Obviously location based, those will be some I think that will be helpful for you guys, just because West Michigan and the Lakeshore in general is pretty well known. So anytime you can use location specific hashtags, I think that will only benefit you. Obviously there's a ton of industry related hashtags. House hunting is one that I see often, when you're selling, obviously home for sale. And then of course, branded. These are the hashtags that are specific to you and to your business. At Michigan Mortgage, we use hashtag guiding you home and hashtag lender for life, because those are two, not only hashtags, but phrases that are really important to us and phrases that we use in our marketing. So if you have phrases like that or taglines of sort that you use, go ahead and turn those into a hashtag. Use your team name as a hashtag, because if somebody then clicks on that hashtag, they can see all of the posts that you have kind of branded with that hashtag. So it's another way just to classify your information on Instagram. And here is a pretty cool tool. If you haven't heard of All Hashtag, it's a free tool that can help you find certain keywords that you may want to use. So as you can see, if you go to their website, you just put in your word, be real estate, home for sale, whatever that is. And then if you click top, that will show you the top hashtags using that word or that term. So when you go to use them on Instagram, you'll know which ones typically perform better than the rest. So play around with this. It's a great place to start, especially if you're not crazy familiar with hashtags and don't have a ton of time on your hands to really do the research. So again, that is allhashtag.com, and it is free. So it's a good tool to have in your back pocket. So as part of the business account that you're going to set up or have already set up, hashtags are something that you're also able to monitor through insights. So again, look at those results, see what's performing better, and play around with it a little bit. Maybe you'll find something that works really well and really helps improve your engagement, and maybe you'll use some that do just the opposite. So always make sure you're checking your insights, especially because that's a free tool available to use. So you want to make sure you're actually using it. All right, so Instagram stories. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but it allows you to post pictures and videos. And you can see up here that you can add stickers, you can write on it, you can add your text. So it allows you to do a lot of different things. Polls are crazy popular. You just put in 2 different options and people click and it shows them immediately what the results are. Stories are kind of a slideshow format, so you can watch them for a certain amount of seconds and then kind of cycle through, and they disappear after 24 hours. So the other thing, and this is a question that Katie had brought up, so highlights. So, and I think I can go back to a page and show you. So what these highlights really look like. Maybe not. So for those of you that don't know, at the top of your profile, oh, sorry, here we go. So Instagram story highlights. So these are used in the story section of Instagram, and it's kind of, they're different categories. Categories that you're passionate about. So as you can see from Alexis here, she's got her podcast category, her home, some local content clients, and then obviously some of her reviews. So this is where you can set up just different areas that you want people to see. I know one on our Michigan Mortgage Instagram account is our staff or our events or something like that. So as you have content that fits into those different categories, you can add it there, and it kind of lives for life. So your stories, they disappear after 24 hours, but these highlights, these stay until you go through and actually edit them. So I'm sure if you go to our account and look, there's some photos in there that are 2 or 3 years old because that's when they were uploaded. This is a really cool place to do a more like a day in the life sort of feature. If you want to show people, your morning routine, your pets, how you spend your day, where you work, what your office looks like, the music you're listening to, that sort of thing, because that content doesn't really change often. It's a great place to use your highlights. Reviews, again, if you're using Canva and making really cool review graphics, put those there. This is the stuff, the content that has a longer shelf life, that is important for people to see. So think of your highlights as if somebody finds your page and they don't know you, the first thing they're probably going to do is watch your story. After they do that, they'll move farther down the page, which they see your highlights and then your whole news feed. So test those out. What you can also do, and this is a little bit, I would say probably more advanced, that you'll see a lot of brands doing, or maybe what they call the social influencers or the Instagram influencers. But after they add their different highlights categories, they then go in and create a graphic. So for instance, if their category is pets, they may have a graphic with a paw print on it. And then next to that, if they have, my home, they will use the same background. So say if they picked pink, it would be a pink with a paw print. And then for their home, it would be a pink background with a home on it. So they're very consistent and they're on a brand. And of course, it just makes it look a little bit cleaner and a little bit more organized. So again, highlights, it's something that's still relatively new in the Instagram world. Not a lot of people are really playing around with that. But it is certainly something that you can do, especially during this time where you have a little extra time to research and play around, to set you apart and to really give yourself a chance to shine on Instagram. All right, so IGTV. Instagram announced this, I believe, the beginning of last year. They wanted a way to kind of compete with YouTube, so people could watch videos on their platform instead of having to turn to YouTube to watch the same content. So IGTV is used through a second app. It's just IGTV. You can search it in the App Store, and when you download it, you will sign in using the same sign-in credentials for your business account, and then the two are now linked. So what you'll do is you'll open IGTV first, and you can upload your video there. The videos that work best are filmed vertically, because they're, IGTV is watched on your phone. So do your vertical format videos if you can. You can add text to them. You can add the stickers and the polls and do all of this really fun stuff right in IGTV. And then when you go to post it to Instagram, what happens is it will show a little preview and then encourage people to continue watching on IGTV. So it's another way that Instagram can keep people on Instagram. So again, you'll have to download the app. This is what it looks like. Very, very easy to use. And if you have trouble using it, certainly reach out to us. We're happy to help in any way we can. But really all you have to do is download the app, sign in, and then you can get started. There's not much legwork that you need to do to get rolling with IGTV. So when you upload your video, you want to add the title, obviously. Use the description, take advantage of that and describe what your content is about, and then pick a cover photo. You don't have to use, obviously, a still from the video. You can upload something you've made in Canva or a different image that represents the content if you want the cover photo to be a little bit unique. And then, as you can see down here at the bottom, because Instagram and Facebook are connected, you can upload to IGTV and then make it visible on your Facebook business page as well. So another way just to kind of use some shortcuts so you're not having to do twice the work. So when you share the IGTV video, or you post it on your Instagram account, it will come up into your newsfeed, as you see here, just like any other post would, but you see the IGTV icon right in the top right. So that means that Instagram will give somebody a 1-minute preview, and then they will have to click to watch the remainder of the video. So that being said, any video you upload to IGTV must be at least a minute long. If it's under a minute, then you'll just upload that directly to your Instagram business profile. You will only use IGTV for those longer videos, or obviously the preview feature is not going to work. So they don't allow those videos. So keep that in mind. But it's a great tool to use it. And no, Carolyn, so viewers do not have to have the IGTV app to watch the video. At least I do not believe. I could be wrong on that, but I think you are able to watch them even if you don't have the app downloaded. However, though, okay, so yeah, thanks, Alexis. I appreciate that. Yes, you do not have to have the app downloaded to watch, but you do have to have the app to be able to upload them. That's kind of the caveat there. All right, so now that we've covered IGTV, a lot of other topics, before we move on to some of the do's and don'ts, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions. There's a lot of information here, so I just want to make sure I'm not moving too quickly and not answering those. So if you have questions, let me know. And if not, then we will keep moving through this. So do's and don'ts. I think this one's probably pretty obvious, but we did just want to remind you that stock photos do not belong on Instagram. Going back to this, your branding, you really want people to know who you are and see the real you. And stock photos just doesn't do that. And who knows who else is using the same stock photos. So if you can, avoid stock photos at all costs. We also don't want you to sell too much. If you've heard us talk about Facebook, we kind of harp this 80-20 rule, where 80% of your content should be educational, it should be informative, it should be about you and your life, whereas only 20% should be about your business and the things that you're trying to sell people. So the same applies for Instagram. Try to keep it 80-20, be informative, show them your real life, show them who you are, and show them your passions. and then sneak in some of those more sale related posts periodically. Don't buy fake followers. I'm sure this is probably pretty obvious, but some people are still doing it. Make sure everybody you're interacting with on Instagram is authentic. The last thing you want is followers just for the sake of followers count. You really want to build a sphere and get people to trust you. All right, so we do encourage you to get hyperlocal. Focus on the area that you are an expert in, because there are so many people in that area that you don't know or you haven't connected with. So get hyperlocal. Take photos in front of businesses. Feature different people that are prominent in that community, because that will help you resonate with those people, and it will position you as the expert in that specific location. And make sure you're sharing your listings and you're sharing houses that you've sold. If you can fit these in with your 80-20 rule, it's nice for people to see the type of homes that you're working with, any listings obviously you have coming, and play around with the different tactics too. Because on Instagram, you cannot put a clickable link in the description or the content box. You have to get a little bit creative. So encourage people to give you a call or leave a comment or send you a message if they want more information. Because again, it takes that conversation offline and really allows you to connect with them. All right, so I wanted to give you guys a few examples of some really good accounts to follow if you're looking for inspiration, you're looking for ideas, anything like that. So here are a few. Ryan, Peter, and Brenda. You guys can look them up. So Ryan is obviously in New York. He does a really great job of sharing a variety of different content and really abiding by that the 80-20 rule. You see Peter here in the middle. Just by looking at those 3 photos that he has posted, it's very obvious what his personality is, who he is, and what he represents. And he also uses those highlights really, really well. And he is kind of, as you can see what I was talking about, adding those photos that make it a little bit more on brand instead of just having it be the most recent he's uploaded. And then Brenda here, she does a really great job of not only showing the business and what she does, but incorporating her branding as well. If you have a specific color that you use in a lot of your branding, carry that over to Instagram, because again, what you're portraying online should be a reflection of who you are in person. So write these names down, check these guys out. They have a large following, so they're doing something right. And maybe you can get some ideas from them. All right, so I wanted to close out today's class with some tools and some apps that can help make Instagram a little bit easier and a little bit more fun. So some of these you may heard of. I hope that you're able to walk away with a new tool, because that's, of course, always our goal from these classes. So the first is Canva. Canva is essentially a graphic design tool that you can use on your mobile phone or online. It works both places and it works pretty much the same. They have free and paid versions. And they have a ton of post and story templates already built in. So if you download Canva and you sign in, you scroll through, it already has preset Instagram templates. So you know exactly the size image you need to make or the size your story can be. You can customize it to match your brand. You can add text, photos. They have a ton of things available at your fingertips. You just have to take the time, obviously, to play around with it. So this is something that we use on occasion. I know that a lot of our loan officers use it when they're creating things specifically for their page. But, you can do anything from a profile photo to a PowerPoint presentation in Canva. So lots of options there if you don't have access to a graphic designer. And that is just canva.com, or you can search Canva in your app store. So the next tool is called Hyperlapse. This is essentially, it speeds up your videos. So it gives them some pretty cool visual effects. I'm assuming a lot of you are probably familiar with Boomerang. So it kind of does the same thing where it speeds things up. But it allows you to kind of show maybe something that would last a little longer in a shorter amount of time. So you can shoot these videos in motion where you're walking, running, jumping, falling, whatever you're doing, and it kind of speeds them up and gives them a cool effect. So if you haven't played around with Hyperlapse, it's something we're trying just to try to help your page stand out a little bit. So the next app I wanted to share is called InShot. This is essentially all about resizing and editing those photos and those videos that you want to share. So what you can do is you can upload the video that you filmed to InShot. If you need to trim it a little bit, maybe you didn't shut it off quite fast enough and they could hear your kid screaming in the background and you want to trim the end of that, you can do that in InShot before you actually take those videos and upload them to IGTV. You can also add music, add stickers, and do a lot of other really cool things using InShot. So check that one out, especially if you plan to do videos and you want a really easy way to edit them and make them look a little bit cleaner before uploading to IGTV. So Boomerang, I touched on this a little bit. I'm sure many of you, especially if you're using Instagram, are already familiar with Boomerang. It allows you to loop videos. We use this sometimes if we need a fun way to recognize a holiday or an event or something like that. It's something you can have fun with. They're not crazy educational, but it does show your personality really, really well. And again, that's Boomerang, and that is an app, so you will have to find that in your app store. So the last one I wanted to touch on, it's called Planoly, and this is actually a scheduling tool. Social media is really hard because it is something you should be doing on a regular basis. And of course, that just takes a ton of time. So Planoly is a visual planner. It's a schedule and it's more. So they have the free and the paid versions. It allows you to schedule your posts in advance. And then, of course, after they're posted, Planoly tracks the different results, the engagement, your analytics, and will help you better understand how that post performed. And then if you're using Planoly, you can actually comment and engage right in the app without having to open Instagram to do so. So it's kind of really it's a scheduling and a management tool, kind of puts it all together, combines it all in one. So if you're struggling to figure out how to post content and how to find the time to post content, check Planoly out, because if you can schedule things in advance, there really is no reason why you can't maintain your Instagram account. And for those of you that are on the go, which obviously is pretty important in our business, this is just something to have to help make it easier for you. All right, well, that is all I had for today. Again, we appreciate all of you guys being here. So if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself. I am, of course, here to answer them. It looks like Dave and Haley have stayed on with us. So if you have any of the market questions, mortgage questions, they're here to help too. So let me know.
Come on, you guys. Well, somebody's got to have a question.
My head hurts.
Happy birthday to Carrie,
For
too.
this.
Oh, you can do it, Linda.
Okay. Happy birthday, Carrie.
Courtney, I do have a question quick. For the highlights, because I had mentioned I've never played with those, but I've been noticing some other agents doing it. To do the backgrounds as like the first icon, is that the first highlight you have to post, or is there a way to, do you know how?
Yes, I believe when you so when you go to set it up, when you get through the point where you're actually adding your title to the highlights category, it'll give you the option to edit your cover. They call it the cover.
Okay.
If you click edit cover, that takes you directly to the your camera feed on your phone. So as long as you have those graphics saved on your phone, you can upload those, and then you can make each highlight section look really,
Clean.
and clean and branded to your brand.
Okay. Good. I'm going to play with that today.
Yeah, and if you don't use Canva, that would be super easy to use Canva to create that. And then if you get the template, you just edit it for every category.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
Courtney, can they go ahead and email you if they have questions later?
Yes, absolutely. And I will reach out to all of you guys via email, because I know there are some people that I have not met that were on today's call. So I'll be sure to email all of you so you have my email on hand if you need to chat a little bit more or have questions.
This is Lisa Franklin. Can anybody hear me?
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, you can't see me because I don't look very great right now. My question is, because I was trying to switch over to a different computer, I do have an existing personal account that I've been trying to put, of course, my real estate business on. Can I transfer that into a business account?
Yes, you can. So if you open Instagram and you are on your profile, if you go to the settings, the setting in there that will allow you to switch your account over as it stands to that business account. So scratch.
Okay, thank you. I will try that.
Yes, and if you have trouble getting that switched over, just reach out and I can walk you through that.
Super. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You said that we could follow hashtags. How do we do that?
Yes. So if you have Instagram open and there's a hashtag you like, so for instance, I just am pulling up a friend and it's quarantine life. So if you actually click on the hashtag, it will open up a new window that will show you all of the posts that have used that hashtag. And then there's a blue button that you click follow. So as soon as you're following that stuff will show in your news feed, just like anything else.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. All right. Well, if nobody else has questions, we certainly appreciate your time this morning. And of course, we're here to help you in any way we can. So Instagram related, mortgage related, market related, reach out to us and, we're here to help.
Oh, time for a drink.
Great job, Courtney.
Thank you. It's so good to see everyone.
Hey, Steph. See you. Be good, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.